Good evening and welcome to CYC News for the 12th of August 2018 and the 6th of Misra 1734 AM. I'm Yusina Tuadros. In today's headlines, Israel and Hamas exchange fire in Gaza escalation, Saudi-led strike kills dozens of children on school trip in Yemen, North Korea's foreign minister visits Iran as US reintroduces sanctions, Saudi Arabia state airline cancels flights to Canada in growing dispute, Puerto Rico admits Hurricane Maria's death toll may be higher than reported, dozens reported dead in Congo Ebola outbreak, Chelsea signs a new goalkeeper as Premier League clubs finalise squads. But first to Gaza, where Israel has launched scores of airstrikes as Hamas militants fire rockets and mortars into its territory, prompting warnings over the risks of escalations amid efforts to achieve a long-term ceasefire agreement. According to the Palestinian Minister of Health, the fighting, which began last Wednesday, left 3 Palestinians dead, including a pregnant mother and her young daughter. More than 180 rockets and mortars were launched from Gaza towards Israel, according to the Israel Defense Forces. 40 were intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome aerial defense system, while most others landed in open fields in southern Israel. After the rocket launches, the Israeli Air Force struck more than 150 military targets across 20 sites in Gaza, including manufacturing facilities, weapons depots, and training complexes. There was a brief lull in hostilities on Thursday afternoon, but by the evening, the two sides were exchanging fire again. A series of Israeli airstrikes destroyed the Al-Mashallah Cultural Center near Gaza City, a building allegedly used by Hamas in their interior security forces. According to the Palestinian Minister of Health, 18 Gazanians were wounded in the strike. An Israeli official had said earlier that afternoon, Hamas absorbed a powerful blow. Israel will continue to operate forcefully. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman have ordered the Israeli military to be ready for any possibilities. Over to Yemen now, and dozens of children, many younger than 15, were killed in a Saudi-led coalition airstrike that hit a school bus in northern Yemen on Thursday, according to the Houthi-controlled health ministry. The children were on a field trip when their bus was struck at a market, the first stop of the day. 50 were killed and 77 injured. Most were inside the bus when the airstrike hit. The International Committee for the Red Cross said a hospital it supports in Sada had received 29 bodies of mainly children younger than 15 and 40 injured, including 30 children. Red Cross Head of Communications and spokesperson Mirel Hodabed said the hospital is very busy. They've been receiving wounded and dead since the morning, and it is non-stop. Putting children in harm's way is horrific and deplorable, and making them pay such a price is unacceptable. A video from Houthi-run Al Masirah TV shows several boys who appear to have lost their limbs. 2 or more wounded children are seen sharing a single hospital bed, and one child, soaked in blood, screams as he is being treated at a health center. In another video, which appears to show the immediate aftermath of the strike, several children's bodies lie under a blown bus. Some boys are seen regaining consciousness, their faces blooded and limbs charred. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif welcomed his North Korean counterpart Ri Yong-ho to Tehran on Tuesday, hours after the United States reintroduced sanctions against the Islamic Republic. The state-run Islamic Republic news agency reported the two officials met and expressed sanctification with existing bilateral relations and called for further expansions of ties. Without any specific details, the agency added they also discussed the latest regional and international developments, as well as issues of mutual interest. It was the first visit by a senior North Korean official to Iran during the second term of Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. and was made upon a request by North Korean Foreign Minister. Earlier on Tuesday, President Donald Trump posted his latest Twitter message cautioning countries against doing business with Iran. He tweeted, "The Iran sanctions have officially been cast. These are the most biting sanctions ever imposed, and in November they ratchet up the yet another level. Anyone doing business with Iran will not be doing any business with the United States. I am asking for world peace, nothing less." Trump ended the US participation in the Iranian nuclear deal orchestrated by the Obama administration in May. The visit from North Korea coincided with the first round of reimposed sanctions that target, among other things, the purchase or acquisition of US dollars by the Iranian government, the country's auto industry and trade in gold or precious metals. To Canada now, where Saudi Arabia's state airline will suspend all flights to and from Toronto starting this week, amid an intensifying diplomatic row between the two countries, following Canada's refusal to back down from comments in defence of human rights inside the kingdom. In her first public response to Saudi Arabia's actions, Canadian Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland said, "Canada will always stand up for protection of human rights, including women's rights and freedom of expression around the world." The statement comes after Ryder announced the expulsion of the Canadian ambassador and freezing of all new trade and investment with Canada. The spat began a fortnight ago after the Canadian Foreign Minister expressed concern over the arrests of activists in Saudi Arabia in a series of tweets. Last Monday, the row appeared to take a bizarre turn when the Saudi Minister of Media ordered the shutdown of a popular Saudi Twitter account after an inappropriate image was shared in support of the country's decision to expel the Canadian ambassador. The verified account, infographic KSA, had earlier tweeted an image of an Air Canada flight superimposed over the Toronto skyline flying towards the CN Tower. Text on the graphic read, "Sticking one's nose where it doesn't belong," and as the Arabic saying goes, "He who interferes with what doesn't concern him finds what doesn't please him." The tweet was deleted shortly after it was sent. An infographic KSA later issued an apology. The government of Puerto Rico has quietly admitted the death toll from Hurricane Maria may be far higher than its official estimate of 64. In a report to Congress dated last Wednesday, the US Commonwealth's government says documents show 1,427 more deaths occurred in the 4 months after the storm than normal, compared with deaths that occurred the previous 4 years. The figures also appeared in a draft of the report called Transformation and Innovation in the Wake of Devastation, published and opened for public comment July 9th. According to the report, the figure was first revealed by the Puerto Rico government on June 13th, the day after the judge forced officials to release the death records, which CNN, the Centro de Periodismo Investigativo, had sued to make public. The officials stopped short of updating the official death toll for the September 20th storm. The report says the official number is being reviewed as part of a study underway by George Washington University, after they were hired to review the toll when news organizations called it into question. Carlos Mercader, executive director of the Puerto Rico Federal Affairs Administration, said in an interview, "We understand that the number is higher. We didn't commission the study to prove there were 64 deaths. We wanted a study that would give us the reasons why this happened." To health news, and the Ebola virus outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has killed 33 people, according to the World Health Organization. An additional 43 suspected cases of Ebola were reported, including 13 confirmed by lab testing. The outbreak is spreading through 5 health zones in the North Kivu province and 1 health zone in the Ituri province, which poses geographic and political challenges. North Kivu borders Rwanda and Uganda, and trade activity fuels heavy movement across the borders. North Kivu also hosts over 1 million displaced people, and fighting between government forces and armed militant groups makes containing the highly infectious disease virus a challenge. Peter Salama, head of emergencies at the World Health Organization, said, "We're responding to an outbreak of this high-threat pathogen with one of the highest mortality rates of any known disease, but in the context of a war zone." Health officials announced the outbreak last Wednesday, about a week after the government of Congo declared another Ebola outbreak, and Equator province had been contained. That outbreak was about 2,500 kilometers from the current one. In a statement from the World Health Organization, read, "The Ministry of Health and partners were working to establish the full extent of this outbreak." In sport, in a world record transfer fee for a goalkeeper, Chelsea have signed Kepa Arrizabalaga for $91 million from Spanish club Athletic Bilbao ahead of the 2018-19 Premier League season, which began on Friday. The 23-year-old arrives at Stamford Bridge on a 7-year deal to replace Thibaut Courtois, who is set to join Real Madrid. The transfer surpasses the $68 million Liverpool paid for Alisson's last month and the $75 million Chelsea spent on striker Alvaro Morata last summer. In a statement on the Chelsea website, Kepa said, "It's a very important decision for me, for my career, and also for my personal life. So many things attracted me to the club and all the titles the club has won, the other players and the city. It's an accumulation of things, and I'm very glad." Kepa, who won his sole Spain cap last November, played 30 times for Athletic Bilbao last season, keeping 7 clean sheets. Chelsea has also signed Croatian midfielder Mateo Kovacic on a season-long loan from Real Madrid as part of the Courtois deal. And that's all for CYC News. A reminder that you can watch the news bulletin again throughout the week on YouTube. I'm Justina Twadros from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia. Have a good night.